The truth just leaked, and it is sickening. Following what has been a very disappointing season thus far, to say the least, the Leafs' master plan heading into the trade deadline over the next few weeks has been revealed, and it is not what fans wanted to hear. We'll break down these new updates and discuss what it means going forward as the truth has been revealed behind moves coming and changes coming to this team and this roster, including the coaching staff, as well as a bunch of injury updates ahead of a crucial stretch of play as the Leafs, they're still in it. They're still in the running for the playoffs. A lot of work to do, ton to go over, folks. But before we get into it, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. There's a lot to go over today. Like we mentioned there, or I just mentioned, the truth has been revealed here, according to Darren Dreger, behind the Leafs' plans going forward. And it's not exactly what I'm sure many of you guys wanted to hear, but let's dive right into it. So, despite the poor play in current standings, there's belief in this team from management that it can be turned around due to the group being mostly a veteran team and the fact that you still have a high octane talent on the roster, along with getting a couple guys back. Your top fandom from last year reconnects. And there is parts, we'll dive into this in a minute, but Darius, according to reports here, and this has been echoed by Elliot Freeman as well, it seems, at least for the time being, they are going to look to make a trade, but major changes are going to have to wait. And this was not the truth I was hoping to be bringing to you guys today. Now, some people, I'm sure a lot of you guys watching, want them to keep this, or some of you guys, and kind of run with it. But it seems at this point that they are going to be rocking with this, at least for the foreseeable future, which does make sense, but a little bit sickening.
Yeah, we've said on the channel the last couple of weeks, like we wouldn't be surprised if they still made the playoffs, and I'm going to keep my prediction at that. And I do kind of still believe in this group, I have to be honest, because, logically thinking and speaking, I don't think any major changes are coming this year. I just don't. I don't think Craig Berube, a firing is not imminent. I don't think Brad Treliving getting fired is going to happen this year. I just don't, right? And I mean, a lot of these moves, you look on Twitter, and a couple of things are true. A couple of guys do not look very good this year. The goaltending hasn't been as good, right? But you look on Twitter, a lot of people are like, Brandon Carlo. And I do believe that they could look to flip him, right? And maybe that does make sense. But 6 months ago, we were all like, yes, Brandon Carlo. And a couple months ago, we were all like, yes, Scott Laughton. Now things have changed just because they're losing, right? So the answer, unfortunately, to say it again, and I hate this saying sometimes too, is in the room. And I do think that they're going to have to figure it out. I think management, ownership, everybody is looking at the team and going like, nobody's coming to bail you out. We're not going to fire this guy and then bring in a coach that wants to play the way that you want to play. Like, it's just not going to work, right? And I said it in a video we had the other day. So major change in terms of like a firing, I'm not so sure, but I do believe they're going to make a trade, and I think it's going to come soon, and it could come around the time they get everyone back from injury, which we will also get into this video because that's a whole thing in and of itself. But yeah, I just don't know if a major change in terms of firing is coming, but I feel like Brad Treliving is kicking tires on a lot of things right now.
Yeah, and obviously this report is initially from Darren Dreger, which, again, he's pretty reliable here, but said, of course, there are defensive parts of the game the Leafs need to improve. The issue, though, is the obvious. They can't get any traction, and that's where the concern starts to grow. Given their struggles on the road, by the virtue of standings, they're going to have to start putting together some wins. And you can see here, the panic isn't there yet. When you're looking up at the Buffalo Sabres in the standings, that's problematic with all due respect to Buffalo. And it's a very, very good point. So let's let down below what your thoughts are on this. No firings are going to be happening. They're not going to trade any of their core pieces, none of their prospects. So for now, this is what they're rocking with. Do you think that's sickening? Do you think it's the right thing to do? I think it's probably both can be true. Like, it is sickening, but it's also just the reality of the situation. You're not going to trade some of your elite players. Now, speaking of, we are now behind Buffalo, which is absolutely sickening. Some injuries. We have some updates and a lot of them. So Jake McCabe is not on the ice at Leafs practice, and he is fine though, but is expected to play in a couple days on Wednesday. The good news is you never want to obviously hope for an injury. You never want to anything like that. Or if an injury is going to happen, it is good that we had a bunch of days off in between. So he's going to be available on Wednesday, and thankfully, because they need him back, especially to see what their plans are heading into the deadline. But not only that, or not the deadline, over the next few games, Craig Berube said that Matthews, Nyes, and Nicola Watt are close to returning as well. So Darius, despite everything we've talked about in this video, the team is slowly inching closer and closer to being healthy. So they avoided some serious injuries in some regard. We do have an update for Stolarz, which is a bit unfortunate, but the big guys are coming back. You also have, of course, Jake McCabe, who's a big guy in himself, part of this team, is going to be coming back. But a couple of the guys as well are not going to resume skating, but some positives and some negatives.
Yeah, and I mean, you had a depleted lineup the last little while, and even on Saturday. That does not excuse the poor effort in that game, right? I'm not making any excuse for the team, but to get Jake McCabe back is a big thing. He's a big part of this team. He's a leader on the team, all of those things. So to get him back Wednesday, Thank goodness he's not going to miss any significant time or anything like that. And the other three guys, Watt,
Yeah.
Nyes, and Matthews, look like they're going to play this week at some point. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll have a video for you guys in terms of, if they're actually going to play on Wednesday, but they're going to play this week. But you're still missing a lot of regulars, right? So that's the tricky situation with this team, and why they can't really make a trade right now, and they're trying to see where they're at with a lot of the bodies back in the lineup, even though they weren't very good with all the bodies in the lineup anyway. But I think that's where the frustration's coming through for a lot of fans, because it's like you can't really do anything till they're back. And whenever you ask when these players are coming back, you're hit with, I have no idea, right? So that's the frustration from the fan base right now. So that's the biggest thing, I think, heading into next week. But these three guys look like they're headed back into the
Yep.
lineup, which is huge because they're big parts of this team. It will probably, send Quillen back to the AHL. And then we have another update on Anthony Stolarz and a couple other guys as well. Like Brandon Carlo hasn't skated yet. That's not great, especially if they're trying to flip him, which has been the rumor the last little while. Anthony Stolarz hasn't skated either, and apparently the injury is more significant than they thought it was going to be. Now, Joseph Woll's been fine. Hildeby's been okay as well. So that's okay, I guess, at this point, but you want your starting goaltender back in the lineup too. So this is going to get interesting, I think, heading into December here, where it's like, the excuse of we can't make a move because we want to see the team with a full lineup. Nobody's healthy right now across the league, right? So you're going to have to make a decision at some point. So that's definitely where the frustration's showing, because every time you ask, you turn your head, you ask a question like, hey, when's this guy coming back? I don't know. Well, how do you make any decisions that way, right? So it's frustrating for fans right now.
Yeah, and bouncing off what you said, you can see here, again, updates in McCabe and Matthews are good news. Stolarz is a ways away and still not skating, so he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. At the same time, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Darius, or anyone down below, I believe they said the same thing with McCabe, and now he's scheduled to play on Wednesday. So I think they said to him that
Yes,
he was going
yeah.
to be gone for a way. So they're being, at least this year, a little bit more pessimistic with hopes that things work out rather than being optimistic and then, of course, things turning down that way. But Brandon Carlo also not skating. You mentioned it. I mean, this team, the reason that everything is so bad this year is because usually if they start off slow like they always do, you can come back and see how they play when healthy and they figure it out, right? They haven't had a chance to do that. They've barely been fully healthy this year, even dating back to Scott Lawton, who's played a huge part, was hoping to play a huge part in this team and a huge part in their lines heading into. I mean, you think about it, there was really a wrench in their whole preparation heading into the start of the year with Scott Lawton, all the lines messed up. And you can argue, of course, one player is not going to change that much, especially a fourth liner. But those lines were completely jumbled and they had things planned out the way they were. Now, luckily, people are slowly starting to get healthy. But again, even at a time where we're talking about getting healthy, you're going to be without Stolarz, you're going to be without Brandon Carlo, you're going to be without some guys. And it just gets frustrating at this point. You see some comments here. You can see one from Craig Berube. Everybody is frustrated. We all feel it. We want to be better. Everyone has to grind right now. I mean, bunch of different comments. And he says he's super upset with them losing. You have Simone Benoit, who's had a disaster this year, talking about how adversity builds character. It's true. All these things are great. Win some hockey games.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that I liked, and it wasn't in that quote, but Simone Benoit had another soundbite from today too, where he was saying, everyone's kind of doing the same thing right now, and he's not assertive enough. He needs to do that. He
Yes.
wants to put his stamp on games, right? And for him to be saying that, at least the fact that this team can see that they're not doing that, I think that's a step in the right direction, at least. So I'm glad that he said that, because nobody's stepping up to the plate. Everybody has to put their stamp on every game, right? And Scott Lawton, you bring that up. A lot of people are saying that he's not playing well, or, it was a bad trade, all of those things. Yes, he's had some bad luck and he's been out of the lineup, but every time he's in the lineup, you notice him. Like, he plays really well. So he's been a big part of this team as well. He started the year with a broken foot. Benoit didn't, he wasn't participating in training camp. He was hurt. Joseph Woll, that thing, like, it's been bad luck so far, but hopefully, they're dealing with all of this now, so then it's okay later in the season. But, to say like a big trade is coming to save the team, it's not possible. It's going to have to come from within the room. They're going to have to hold each other accountable. Everybody's going to have to step up to the plate. And the one thing we haven't mentioned on the channel too, Matthews, where's that moment where you put your team on the back, man? Like, put the team on your back and have a moment here. Do something this season. We haven't seen it yet this season, arguably even last season. So get to it.
Yeah. Let us know below your thoughts are. A lot of things happening, a lot of changes surely not coming potentially, or also some sort of moves are going to be on the horizon. We'll keep you up to date every step of the way. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.